And we are back to the See What Happens podcast. I, of course, am Rob Schneider, and I'm with lovely and talented, incredible, and amazing, youthful
Patricia Maya.
Patricia Maya?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And we're back. And so how do you think these podcasts are going for you so far? We've been doing it for almost a year now.
Yes?
Yeah.
Really? Is that right?
Well, June.
Oh. It's just sometimes I'm with you, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes Jamie's here, or you have other guests.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have more guests coming soon, but today my favorite guest is you.
Oh.
You're not really a guest, you're a partner.
Well, I live here, so it's kind of like you have to have me in here when no one else can do it.
That's true. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a few by myself, too, just to ramble and stuff, but it's nicer to have somebody to feed off of, right?
Yes.
So anyway, last night, you made the executive decision.
Oh, yeah, I did? What?
To let the baby sleep in our bed last night and stay up till midnight. Did you do that out of exhaustion, or did you just do it because
yeah,
it seemed fun, too?
Both.
She's so fun.
Both. She's a lot of fun. However, I think she was way too tired.
Oh, yeah.
Because she had a long day, and then she was playing with this, we had visits, and it was so much fun for her.
Yeah, she had a lot of stimulation.
Yeah, that she had trouble sleeping.
3-year-old. Also, she also had something else that made her trouble sleeping. Sugar.
Yes.
She had that sugar drink. I saw her sucking that down, and I said, like, this is gonna be a problem. And I let it happen.
Yes.
Now, normally I don't.
I know.
But I've been cognizant of my what I'd like to talk about today. And it's affecting every aspect of my life for half a century now. I was diagnosed with ADD, and it's not a surprise to anybody. Attention deficit or adult attention deficit disorder, AADDHHHHDDDH. HHHHHD.
But you haven't been diagnosed.
No, he diagnosed me.
No, he didn't. He said you should get diagnosed.
No. He said, I'm going to diagnose you as ADHD. He did.
But I heard that.
No, he said, I'm going to diagnose you. No, he said, I'm going to do it.
Oh, really?
No, you didn't hear that part.
I didn't hear that part. Well, let's
when you're getting diagnosed, you're going to hear that part. I was getting diagnosed, not you.
Are you sure? Are you sure you were paying attention when he was diagnosing you?
See, that's the kind of shit I don't need. But anyway, so yeah.
So what is that?
Attention deficit disorder. It's a first of all, before we get into that, how cool is it that I can get on the phone with Gabor Maté?
Oh my God, yes.
Well, first of all, Gabor Maté, for people who don't know, if you've been listening to our program every week, you probably know him because we talk about him
so much
every week.
We just love Gabor Maté.
Yeah, he's Hungarian originally. He's a war survivor. His mother was a war survivor in Hungary, and so that kind of trauma was in him. And in the same way, like my mother was a war survivor, World War II. To the Japanese, it was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Pilar.
Happy birthday.
91 years old. Unbelievable. Anyway, so, and I've been reading his books, and I turned you onto his books.
Yes.
You have no idea he wasn't for me.
What?
You have no idea who he was if it wasn't for me.
That's correct. However, I already outread you. I read already like a bunch of his books.
I know.
No. Thank you for the recommendation. I just, I really love him.
You get on it, yeah. What do you love about him? This Gabor Maté. His books would be like in the realm of the Hungry Ghosts, which is about drug addiction.
Addictions in general.
Addictions,
not only
yeah.
Drugs.
Addiction,
Every type of
addictive
addiction.
behavior.
Yes.
And then also the when the body says no. And so what did you what is so amazing about him?
I think I really like the fact that he's direct. Like I think like sometimes there are other books and there are other authors that can go around and around trying to make it easy.
Yeah.
But they don't make it easy.
Yeah.
It's just it gets more confusing. However,
right,
Gabor
and trying to be kind. They don't hit you with what you need. And I have always responded well to that, getting hit. But seriously, I mean, like, tougher, whatever. I had professors who were tougher on me. I was always better with that. Whenever I had, workers or bosses that were really specific. I mean, I always performed well better under that than someone who's like a little too easy. Except, depending. Yeah, but and then so
Or maybe that's what you think.
I think so. I just had phlegm there. What do you like to say?
I think you were choking on your own lies.
Oh God.
No, maybe you think it's easier, but
No.
have you had it
I know.
differently?
Yeah.
And it didn't work?
Not as well, Also, it's really, if you can tell that somebody's super smart, it also helps. Like my old boss at Saturday Night Live, Jim Downey, the former head writer, producer of Saturday Night Live, he was just so brilliant and disorganized, honestly, but brilliant. And I think he's got ADD too, for sure.
Maybe.
I'm just going to diagnose everybody I know.
You're just going to... Do I have ADD? DHD?
Yes.
Yeah, well...
But you don't have it like... I just think you also have like 2 kids and like a household. And now they're...
And a husband with an HD.
No, but the thing about like... Well, I really respect about Gabor Maté is that... Is helpful.
Yeah.
And like it seems like, there's this great thing I read about this M. Scott Peck, Dr. M. Scott Peck. He wrote The Road Less Traveled and everything, and it's very
good book too, by the way. Thank you.
It's very about spiritual. I mean, it's just like it's the first self-help book in America. Well, I'm sure there's some other countries, but like where it was popularized, where like, hey, this is to help people. Yeah. And so like that whole book was like a generous outpouring of love, And in the very much the same way, it seems like Gabor Maté is just, he's out there just trying to help people. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like he's not like working on his next comedy special like I am.
Like you are.
Yeah. But it really helped me.
How do you think it helped you? Like what do you think?
So to recognize your problem.
Okay. So
that you can deal with it. And so that when it's happening again, you don't react the same way. So you're not a prisoner to your reactive mind. In other words, when some stimulus that's happening and your neurons are firing in that direction again, and that's just how they're supposed to react automatically. So it's like addictive behavior again. It's like something happens to you. Okay, like I got to pack this morning, and there's all this stuff. And like I just can't organize it. I don't know what to do first, and then nothing gets done, and I do this part first, and it's like a scattered brain, and it's like I have to go. Okay, just do this one. Let's undo some of the stuff and just start from the beginning. Take it slow, and also less blame, right? Less because like one of the things he told me, which is really interesting, he says that when you start to part of the ADD thing is also punishing yourself too, and like you become your own. If you have trauma, or if you have phlegm, like
or if you have both.
If you have trauma from phlegm, like I have.
Oh God.
What happens is when the trauma disappears, or when the parent disappears, or the parent's no longer traumatizing you,
okay,
you become the super parent.
Happy birthday, Pilar, again.
My mother, Pilar, yeah. No, but she's a war survivor. And the thing about it is like, you gotta they just did the best job they can. You can't continue to blame your parents anymore unless you're still a child, still getting traumatized by it.
Or unless you're still affected by it.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you have to just like they just did what they could, and now you got to just take over, and now you deal with it. And now the coping mechanism for me, just I can only speak for me.
Yes.
And when I'm not speaking for other people.
When you're not diagnosing other people.
When I'm not diagnosing other people, I can only speak for me.
Okay.
No, is that so that coping mechanism comes up, and you don't have to be a slave to it and react the same way every time. You could basically say, and he said it in a really nice way. Dr. Gabor Maté, my new best friend.
Your BFF.
Yeah. He just said, like, you say thank you for it. Don't punish yourself. Because literally, like...
So how do you punish yourself? What is the punishment part for you?
I just say, what a fucking idiot I am. You piece of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
You go that far?
I go there. You go. You worthless.
When you're like
worthless.
packing?
Every day. I mean, almost every. I mean, I'm getting over it now. I'm saying, hey, Rob, take it easy. But like, you worthless piece of shit. You know, it's just like
That's
it's just
terrible.
I know it's horrible. But
honey.
like, I know. But I'm just saying though that it's a self kind of punishment. Like, why didn't you figure this thing out? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you know, I've become the super parent. Now I'm the one torturing myself. And he had me do this really interesting thing where it's like, you know, and he describes somebody else what they're going through. You know, like, so this other person, and he has to do this and that, like that. And what would you say to that person who, if he couldn't figure it all out? I said, well, he's doing the best job he can. He said, so everybody else on the planet gets a break except you. You don't get to give yourself a break. And that was informative.
Wow.
And helpful. And that's the thing about, like, you know, if you have friends out there, and if you have doctors or whatever, if you're reading a book, it's something that you could use. Something that could give you a bridge to an easier, not an easier life, but less tortured or less traumatized and stuff like that. And it's also like, you know, but at the same time, fun. At the same time, you know, some of those egocentricities and some of that, you know, that trauma or whatever has forced me to become a successful person. It's like, I don't get, like, you know.
You think so? Because I don't know.
No. It's been not as successful as I could be, though.
No. What I'm saying is, like, I don't think you are successful because of those situations that happened to you. I think you're successful.
In spite of it.
Yeah.
In spite of it. I know, but
exactly.
I don't. But
you
like,
were going to be successful no matter what because you're brilliant and you're very talented.
Thank you.
And
but
you're dealing with this, but it's a separate thing from your
it gets in my way, though.
As an artist.
It totally gets in my way, though. And I feel it, you know. Like, sometimes I'm like, because I have, like, the notes for, you know, the comedy special that I'm shooting next Saturday, February 29th.
Yes, that's exciting.
In Salt Lake City, leap year.
Well, you're making that happen.
Yeah. I'm making Flum happen. No, but I and thank you for letting me sleep this morning.
Oh.
You're very sweet. I'm very sad.
I love you.
No, but I love you too. And I was going over my notes and stuff, and I have it rewritten, everything already written, and then I have another set of notes, and it's like stacks of papers I was carrying with me, hurting my back going through the airport, because I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio or Adam Sandler in a private jet. I'm taking Delta, and I'm happy to do it. And it's fine. It's not that much of a pain in the ass, and I think it's good to be flying with normal people. But I didn't need all this crap. And so if you get organized and you realize and that you can get ahead of something, and you can at least not get behind or weighed down by it. And that was very, like, critical for me last night, to thinking, like, I'm getting weighed down by not being organized, by not having this you know, the skill set that I need to start developing and just start recognizing it. And at the same time, as I'm developing this new skill set of being organized and being, is to not punish myself for my past failures or this, or not continue to do that. So that's my situation. And with my new friend, Gabor Maté, my new best friend. No, it's just so cool being famous or being a celebrity, because you can get people on the phone. How cool is that?
Wait a minute, your phone.
My phone. Just to get people on the phone. All right. Well, here's somebody on the phone right here. See, you can get people on the phone, and then somebody's on the phone.
Yeah.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. You're on the podcast. What's going on?
Oh, gosh. Whoops. I was calling real quick just to see if you could do a phoner tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's for your show in D.C.
No.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't need it. The ticket sales are great.
Well, look, this is a directive from Adam. So you got to take it up with Adam, because I told him the same thing. He said that he was worried that they were slowing down for those 2 last shows. And
The 2 last shows. Tell him I wanted to cancel those 2 last shows, and he said we were going to sell out. So tell him that's on him. All right, let me call you back.
Okay.
Say hi to Patricia. Say hi to Patricia.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
All right.
Fight a battle for Rob.
All right, I'll call you back. Thank you, Amy. Bye.
Bye, Amy.
Now I'm going to turn this off. Now, see, let me just see. So anyway, my new best friend, Gabor Maté. Isn't that cool, though? If you're famous, you can just call people and get them on the phone. Now, that's like the cool part.
That, to me, was like unbelievable, and I really would love to have a chance to speak to him once at least.
I know. We'll work it out. I'll talk to him.
He's
because he's my new
like,
best friend. Now, he's such a genius. He's so he just makes life better. But I'll see if my friend has time for you. But hey,
but he's so good. This is what I like about him. Like, he really is direct, and he asks you.
You're direct too, by the way.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's how I appreciate also people being direct.
Yeah.
Because
why do you like that so much? Because
because
it cuts through the bullshit.
Exactly. It's like it makes everything easier. You know, when someone is direct, you don't waste time.
Yeah.
You just go. Like where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, I know. Like the things that irritate you about me, like when I say I'll be there in 5 minutes, and it's like it's 8 minutes or it's 18 minutes, and it's like 5. Why do I think it makes it better to go? I'll be there in 5, as if that makes it like an easier blow.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean,
because
like,
there's no need for the lie.
There's no need for that. It's an unnecessary thing. No one's helped by that lie.
Yes.
It's just annoying because it's actually 8 minutes longer.
Well, not 8. Sometimes it's longer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I feel it's the necessity to please or to overperform or to make sure.
But doesn't it? But you know what? Let me tell you something about that specifically, because I really don't like it.
I know.
And it's because
I'm aware of it. That's why I brought it up.
Because it gets people.
It's indirect. That's why you don't like it.
No, and it gets people more upset.
Yeah.
Because if you say, "Oh, I'll be there in 5 minutes," maybe the other person has a chance to go grab a juice somewhere or do something, and then you think, "Oh no," because he's gonna be here in 5 minutes, and then you make people don't do other stuff rather than telling them, "I won't be there," or I'll be there in half an hour. Then you give people the opportunity of doing other stuff.
It's people pleasing bullshit. But getting back to me and my,
I just like to know. I just like to know things.
No, I just think it's so cool that like I can probably get that person on the phone.
That's really cool.
I can it's like a measure of like whenever I have a movie coming out or a TV show, you go, I can probably get this restaurant table first. That's like the only cool thing about being famous. And it's like, I think we can probably get a table before all these other people at the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. Well,
and I think we put that in an episode.
We did it for the VIP.
Good Lord, I'm just running. I'm just squeezing every idea out of my head.
Let me tell you something I really liked about Gabor Maté.
Oh God,
that
my new
he did
friend.
with your new bestie. So you were telling him that you were trying to do yoga.
Yeah.
And he did this amazing thing with you.
Is it? Can you try and stand up right now?
Yeah.
Can you just try?
Yeah.
So do you try? You're either doing it or you're not doing it.
Exactly, and that was such a great example.
That was such. You know what I liked about that was it was very. It was a great example because it was just so accurate to and applicable. And that's why I think that you like things that are direct, because it's applicable, so you can help and move on. Because what I think life, and this is another M. Scott Peck thing, but like the thing about life is like dealing with a successful life is dealing with problems. You have problems. You're always going to have problems in life. Always. You deal with them right away. Don't delay. Deal with it. Move on to the next problem because it will come, and it's going to come. And now the thing is, with unsuccessful lives or less successful lives or my chaotic lives or lives that are in chaos and not as smooth or as effective or as efficient at getting enough done, is people who have the problem avoid the problem, and the avoidance of the problem becomes a much bigger problem, and then that problem becomes the major problem, as opposed to just dealing with the shit you should be dealing with. And that's a big one. That was a thing. That's a lifelong thingy. But like that's becoming I at the end of the day, it seemed like a foundational thinking for me, like a cornerstone thought. My belief system is that, and I always come back to it. When M. Scott told me, another guy that I've met because I'm famous,
is another best friend.
Well, he's dead now, but before he passed away, he was my best friend. No, I was very lucky to be able to meet him one time, and he just said, "Look, this world seems deviously." He said, "If I have to come up with anything," he said, "it seems to me, after my 40 years in clinical research," he said, "seems to me that this world seems deviously designed with our own personal growth in mind. And that's what it's all for." And I was like, "Whoa, let me write that down." And then, of course, I couldn't find a pen, and then I had to go to lunch, and I told somebody I was going to be there in 10 minutes, and I was like,
And you
really?
were like
30.
And you missed it.
And then I
Completely.
forgot. But I just remembered it now.
But you know what? It's very interesting because I was just
So,
listening.
in other words, all of this is happening just as a test, and all this whole thing. It's
Yeah.
going back to what you said about what Elon Musk said, which like, you know, it's always irritating when you quote him, by the way.
Why?
Just because, like...
I really
I know
admire
you.
him.
I know. I just because I'm jealous or something. Like I think you admire him more than you admire me. Like
Oh,
he said
no.
this thing. I never hear. You know what you said, Rob? No. But he said.
Hey, I read all the books that you had recommended.
I know that's great.
Yeah,
But,
I really trust
but-
your
but-
advice.
But going back to what I say,
in
what
that
would you like?
specific area.
But going back for Elon Musk
Mm-hmm.
though, who's like, you know, because you really went off like the deep end, like maybe this is just a video, maybe the virtual reality is the real reality, and this, and I was like, no, I don't buy into any of that, you know, because like there's a certain nihilistic or narcissism that kind of goes with the idea that all of this exists just for us individually, and that these other people don't exist. I believe that that's
No, but that's not what it is either.
megalomaniacal. I know, but that's one of the potential interpretations of this. It's like, oh, this is just all happening.
It's just this is a reality that is not even close to the real thing.
Yeah, I don't buy that. But anyway, I could see that is a nice exercise to play. But the idea that which I think you have to keep a real check on is like this idea that that this whole thing exists, and like because the potential interpretation on some of that to me is like you have died. But this has continued, and that you know, like that close accident that you thought, oh, I survived. You didn't really survive. You're dead, and all this is just a continuation of that virtual thing. And I think that's nihilistic, and that's also like crazy because like in the sense of like, well, then this all exists just for you, and that no one else is real and stuff like that.
No, but it's not that either.
I know I'm saying, but that's one interpretation of like where that could go.
That's your interpretation.
No, I mean that's just one, you know.
Yeah.
Offshoot of this.
Yeah.
But what are you saying?
No. What I was gonna say, and I'm gonna go back to what we were talking about, is I think there is like an idea that we all believe, and it's a lie.
No.
Which is that at some point everything is gonna be fine and perfect, and at some point, like if you do this, if you get that job, if you get this done, if you find the perfect person to share your life with, if you have kids, if you like at some point of your life you're gonna go like, ooh, finally I did it. Check.
No,
Now I'm
but
happy.
that's the Western cultural lie.
Yeah,
that we all
exactly.
live in.
But it's a lie.
It is a lie. It's like, well, you know, but that's what happens. It's like there's
but
this
it creates frustration because we have to know that there's always like
problems, difficulties, and like
exactly. That is part of life.
Yeah, life is difficult.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy. But like Alan Watts, the great English philosopher and who wrote you know, the Tao. What's some of his? I have like 50 of them back here. But he his great book on meditation. He had a great book called "The Wisdom of Insecurity," and Alan Watts specifically talks about this idea about this cultural lie that we live in, which is like, okay, you know, once we get into this school, we got to get the kids into this school, and then once I get, you know, then I got to get this job, and then I'm going to marry this person, and then I'm going to get into this graduate school, and then I get into this job, and then we'll move into this neighborhood, and there's all this thing, this thing's coming, and then I'll get over here, and then I'll get this promotion, and then we'll have this much money, and then we'll live in this neighborhood, and then I'll drive this car, and all this time, this thing's coming. I go, it's going to get good, it's going to get good, it's going to get good, and again in your 40s, and you realize, this is just a big fucking lie. We've been lied to. This has nothing at all. It's just run up to this thing, and it's just a cultural lie. And so the idea of it is this continuation of accumulation of things, and it has nothing to do with what you really do need, which is.
Just live
to be in the moment.
Yeah.
There's this great bumper sticker. I'd rather be skiing. I'd rather be in Hawaii. And as I saw this bumper sticker when I was a kid, it said like, I'd rather be. That was it. It's a very short bumper sticker. Just be in that moment that you're in. The only moment you're ever going to get. The only eternal moment is the eternal now, right? And so if you're living your life to get to this potential place or this supposed, finally,
it's just there's no such thing like, oof. But you know what? This woman
you do have moments of it. There's in Japanese Zen, there's zazen, which is this moment, and this is really a beautiful thing about this this incredible story of this Japanese kamikaze pilot who literally they do this in World War II. Towards the end, there they were, I remember Harry Dean Stanton, the old actor, friend of mine, who's passed away now. Harry Dean was talking. He enlisted in the Navy in 1943, 44. At 16 years old, and he lied about his age to get in the Navy. And he said that, and then they said he was out there in the South Pacific. And he said this Japanese plane was coming. He said, boy, that guy better lift up. He's coming in low. He's coming in low. He's coming in low. And he didn't realize that, like, this is a kamikaze. That's when they first realized it. They lost, the Americans lost us Americans, which you're now an American. They lost 8 planes in, the first couple of weeks. They lost, 8 ships. They lost 32 in, the first month because of these new kamikazes that were coming in. And so what they would do is they would... it's a real deep cultural thing with the sacrifice in Japan, and they would do these ceremonies before they would take these guys up in these loaded bombers, these bomb planes, to just crash and kill themselves into these enemy vessels, right? And so this one guy, they did the ceremony, and they wrap him in this thing, and they he signs the letter to family or whatever, and then they do the sake drink, and then they get him in the. You better do a lot of sake drinks, and they get him in the plane. And so as he was crashing into the plane, crashing his plane into this enemy ship, he said that this incredible moment of zazen, which is I guess you call it nirvana or whatever you want to call it, the Godhead, Christ head or whatever, and it's a release of everything, all the pressure in life of everything, and it was just. And he said it was all gone, all the pressure in his life and everything, because he knew this is over. This is completely over now, and I don't need to worry about anything. And he was just completely in that specific, real moment, this last moment of his life. And it's like there's this unbelievable peacefulness that he felt in this place of perfection and grace.
Who felt that peace?
This kamikaze pilot.
How do they know he was in peace? How do you know that he was in
No, because he lived. Because he lived.
Oh, he did.
What happened was his wing got shot off, and it just kind of, and he landed in the water and survived it. Oh wow! And that's how he was able and became a Zen Buddhist. That's how he was able to tell
he was like, "F this."
Yeah.
And let me tell you about this woman that I was.
Yes.
That you kept on interrupting me.
Me? Interrupting? That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah. So there's this woman, Pema Children, and she has this amazing book, Fully Alive.
Yeah.
And
get that to me.
Yes, it's really good. And actually, it's about that. It's about how the body physically reacts when you think that you got it all fixed. Because we have those moments in life when it's like, oh, finally, I got the job. And you feel super excited.
Yeah.
And then something else happens. And, oh, I got to pay my car or whatever or something. Because that's the way life is. And then your body gets really tense, and we always react with fear.
Yeah.
And fear is a way that the body protects.
Right,
exactly,
right.
but physically.
Right,
and the problem
right.
is if you're constantly having fear, your body is doing that over and over and over, and it could make you sick.
Cortisol goes up. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is the safety mechanism, which is to protect the protection device that we use to protect ourselves, is very important, but we make too much of it.
Yeah.
And that's Alan Watts talks about that. That's become the. It's the same thing in the very myopic view of the world. We don't see. We see ourselves separate from it as far as, or as at the separate thing when it's not. It's a. That's just a miseducation. We're an integral part of it. We're not separate from it, but it's just a miseducation. We keep thinking we're these separate beings, but you're not. You're constantly breathing in and being part, and that's why there's this Western culture has this conflict with nature, because we think we're like this. It's this thing like we got to conquer Mount Everest. It's like conquer. It just has nothing. It's just there. You don't have to conquer any. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You know. And it's just direct conflict that we have when like the same thing with like this, trying to manage germs and disease. It's like for every, and we talked about this before, but like for every human cell you have in you, you have 10 non-human cells. Bacteria and viruses, and that's not a problem. That's just it's a bridge to the world. These aren't the enemies, and so much of Western culture and Western medicine thinks of us like as everything's the enemy, like germs is going to kill us, and like this healthy stuff like meat and dairy or whatever. It's like raw milk. This is going to kill you. It's not. It's just actually it's good for you. But we're being taught that this is, so that we're basically what I'm trying to get to is that we're in direct conflict. And this conflict all the time causes, and that's, I think it's an outgrowth of like what you're saying. It's like, it's the same thing, this cultural lie that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Which is like, you got to get to this place, and then then it's going to be happy.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be great.
Yeah, because we freak out, or what happens is like our body really, we put it in that situation when you're like, finally, and then you're like, no, not again, and then you're like freaking out constantly, like being, and then, oh no.
Well, going back to this Mount Everest thing, like first of all, people, the sense of accomplishment. Now, you need to do stuff, and what from what you're excited about, not the cultural lie of what you think you need to be doing to be successful, so that you can call yourself successful or whatever. Like for instance, like these guys. I showed you this picture, right?
Yes.
It's the most stunning picture. People last spring, almost a year ago, climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And like, that seems like it's an incredible accomplishment. And like, it's what it really is. It's an incredible accomplishment, but it's $60,000. You have some Sherpa, some Nepalese Sherpa carrying your shit for you. You have a specific designed, there's a map of where to go, and there's constant garbage up there because all these rich people are climbing up there to say that they did it, so they can say that at a dinner party and they can get their picture. And there was the most to me, most unfulfilling photograph, or it seemed like a photograph of what the most unfulfilling nature trip would be for this incredible accomplishment. It's just a line of people, just hundreds of people in snow gear, with some of the lucky ones with oxygen stuff, and just trying to make it up this line to get up to the top, take a picture, and come back down. It was no different to me than being at Disneyland. Finally getting on the Raiders of the Lost Ark ride. You're just waiting 2 hours. It didn't seem any different at all. That sense of accomplishment. Like there's this one German climber, and of course I'm terrible with names, but I can't remember the damn name.
The guy who did it?
Well, he's the guy who did it from the North Face. Yeah, with no help, no oxygen, and no map. And he did it all by himself. I said, no, that's an incredible accomplishment. And he could have easily died doing that, but he did. And he did it twice, this guy, the German climber. I'm sorry for bringing, messing his name. But the idea that, like, you can just jump on your treadmill and then, like, okay, I'll just do that, and I'll get up to 2 miles a day, and then I'll just pay $60,000, fly over to Nepal, and then we'll just get up to base camp, make a run for it. The point of that is, like, and people die because of that.
Yes.
There's, like,
but that's their dream also. Like, you cannot just crap on it. For some people, it's a real accomplishment. How do you know if someone
but I'm just saying, it looked like, to me, it's like, what is the accomplishment? You get up to the top and you go, okay, let's go back down. I don't. That's not something that I think is like
exactly, because you don't see it that way. For
no,
them,
but
I'm
saying,
sure
but what is the accomplishment? If you got some guy carrying your shit for you, what's this like? Oh God,
I'm sure not.
I made it up there. Where's my bag?
Where's my Gatorade?
Yeah, whatever Nepal name is. I don't even know Nepal name. Hey, Tenzing, where's my oxygen? Tenzing, that's got to be a name, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Tenzing Radley. No, that's the guy who went up with Hillary. Tenzing. Tenzing. With Lord Hillary.
Look.
The first person who really climbed it. Who no one else climbed before. Lord Hillary did it. He became a Sir
but for a lot of people, it's still exciting. How do you know that everyone is rich? Maybe someone has been saving their whole life to go there and make their dream come true.
Because
Grinch.
I know. No. But I just, it's like nobody's, it's like, one of my dreams is to do a really good comedy special. That's my thing. That's my Mount Everest.
Exactly.
And it's also pretty high 4,500 feet is Salt Lake. And you got to fly into an airport. But I don't have a Nate police person carrying my stuff.
No?
No.
Liar. You should do.
I just have a staff of people working for us that day, producing the comedy special.
Exactly.
Very good people, by the way.
Yeah, that's really cool that you're going to get your
shooting
comedy
next
special.
week.
So how do you prepare for that?
My agent decided to make a lot of money off me by booking me in hundreds of performances in the last couple of months. But he was right. Adam Genovesian. He was right. He booked me in all these places.
That way, you get to just practice and practice and practice and practice.
Yeah.
But how?
No, you just kind of what doesn't work as well, you get rid of, and it becomes pretty obvious after a while.
Oh, okay.
And then that's it.
And you think if you don't do it that often, you don't realize that certain things are not killing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's just that there's certain stuff that falls out after a while, and then you just you put the pressure on yourself. Okay, here it is. Existential philosophy is an attempt to reinterpret human nature in terms of human subjectivity itself, not through superhuman religious or superhuman material categories. It is this attempt to show how human values are derived from a totally human, in fact, a desperately human situation that makes some of the analysis of Sartre and Heidegger, if not valid, at least terribly relevant to the dilemma of those who can find comfort in no creed of God or science. Makes sense, right?
Interesting.
That's from Introduction to Existentialism by Marjorie Green. That is that. No, it's saying
that's a nice introduction.
People are trying to make sense of the world. You're trying to make sense of it.
I think we all try to understand, and that's what a lot of people are doing now, like ayahuasca or mushrooms.
They're reaching for something.
Yeah,
but why is it essential that we need to reach for something? Because culturally it's vacuous, and culturally it's a lie. This existence that we're trying to get to this place that doesn't exist, and then when you get there, it's unfulfilling anyway. So the idea is and then what is the idea? In my opinion, what is it? What is your opinion?
My opinion.
What are you trying to get to? What is this whole point?
I just want to have a happy day today. That's it.
I just want a coffee.
I just want my coffee with butter and cinnamon.
Oh, make me one. No, but the point I think is in that Zazen moment with that Japanese pilot, and he survived it because he finally let go of all these expectations. He finally let go of this cultural demands and everything. And
I think he's lying.
I think he could be lying, but I think there's even in that lie, there is a potential lesson.
I mean, there's no such a thing I don't know. That's for me, my own perspective.
Your own cynical perspective.
Yeah, I cannot imagine doing a sacrifice like that, but
because you didn't have that culture,
and then thinking no, yes, we did, the Mayans and the Aztecs, they did sacrifices all the time.
Yeah, no, but that was not your culture. You didn't grow up in the Mayan times. So give me that crap.
No, but it's being inherited by.
Right, but when we say what's crap, what I mean, this I'm just saying, what happened.
They said also that the people were super happy that they were going to sacrifice themselves.
No, I'm not saying that they were super happy. I never said that they were super happy.
Well,
I'm saying that at that moment, no. I'm sure it was a lot of fear. But when he finally let go at the moment of death, where he thought, okay, I'm really going to die now. That's the moment I'm talking about. When all the cultural expectations and all the bullshit that was put on top of him, this is going to be, and he was able to let go of it. It's over. Now it's over. The sense of peace and peacefulness, a rush that came to him. In Japanese Zen, they call it zazen. In that moment, he felt this incredible bliss and happiness because it was all over. And then he survived.
Yeah.
And then so he was able to become a Zen monk, a Zen, a Zen teacher, and then was able to kind of relate to this thing. Well, I want to get back to that moment. And you have to let go of that. Let go of the expectations, the what you think you're supposed to do, and just do. And just going back to what we said about be, right? And letting go of the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, what my problem is with this story.
Well, first of all, you're such a cynic. You're like, that never happened. He's a liar. This is never. Why would you do that? How could he be happy? No, but that's the story. Now I'm just saying.
No, good for him. But that he's telling this story to everyone and people are believing it. But I just think
yes.
there cannot be
what
peace when you know you're doing something against nature. That's
I know.
against nature
Okay, but
already.
that-
Like
you're missing the
deciding,
point.
you're deciding when your death is
No,
going
but
to
you're
be.
missing
and it's
the
like,
point.
Sorry,
he was
now.
his country was going down in flames, and this is the last ditch effort to stem the tide of the invaders. The Japanese, were a separate country. Were a separate and isolated country up until 1868 or something, when this American captain blew the shit out of the Japanese harbor in Tokyo and said, hey, we're going to stop here because the Japanese didn't want people coming in anymore, so we want our own isolated
No, I get
country.
it. I get it.
So anyway, so the captain, I forget the guy's name. Of course, I'm sorry, I'm brain dead.
okay.
But anyway, my point is, so this culturally, this was basically a real, in a samurai society up until that point. And then they become very industrialized and blah, blah, blah. And then the war, and then they became imperialistic.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So my point, so this finally, at the point of the country's collapsing,
Yeah.
there's this desperation to save the country. And this,
Yeah.
and this part of it is sacrifice and for the whole, blah, blah, blah. So he was sacrificing himself.
yeah.
And as he was doing it, and at the end of his life where he thought this is really over, he felt that great rush of peace.
I think he felt the peace when he was actually alive. When he realized, holy shit, I'm alive. That's when he was in peace with it.
I'm just telling you that's not what he said.
Well,
That's your interpretation of
yes.
it.
I don't believe what he said. I don't believe
That's fine.
There's
But I'm saying,
peace
even if you don't,
in there.
no, but he not in his death.
No, but in the letting go
In
of
the-
the thing that he.
Well, that's
knew
what
this
it is.
it.
That's what it is. That is zazen, is letting go, and letting go of everything that's expected of you.
Yeah.
Letting go of you being brainwashed, and that's when
But you're not
Buddha.
letting go,
But in the Buddha,
actually.
no, but he is.
If you're killing yourself for this
But he
thing,
did
you're
kill
not
himself.
letting it go.
He did. He let go of the controls. He was crashing into the thing, and his wing got shot off, and it spun him, and he survived somehow. What I'm saying is that's what he did was he was turning off all the noise, all the cultural noise, all the expectations, everything, and he turned it off, and then he became awake to the reality of the situation of life and how beautiful it is, how incredible it is, and being really alive in that moment, in his last moment that he thought he was going to be alive. And in Buddhism, they call that the Buddhist, they call it bodhisattva. He calls it being awake, and an awake in the sense of no longer hypnotized by all the noise and stuff, and to really get to that essential you, or that peacefulness that is there. That we just constantly with the noise and social media and all the the phone and all the kids and the expectations and the job and all the pressures, all that stuff that we just pile on top of ourselves. If you can just take that all away and get to the essential you and really be there in that moment.
I believe
and
that.
So that's
yeah.
what I'm saying, that you just dismissed out of hand.
No. I just dismiss like his idea of like.
You dismiss his idea or me telling it?
No, not you telling it.
You're about to say both. I saw you. I saw the B forming.
No. Sorry, I still don't buy it. But good
I
for
don't-
him. That's his story. He's going to stick to it.
I don't buy that climbing up Mount Everest is such a big deal anymore. I mean, I think it's incredible. You could obviously die doing it. I think it's.
I mean, for some people it is, for some isn't.
Yeah, I know. Well, what else is there? I mean, you got to do something in your life, right? So you want to do something that's exciting.
I gotta say,
I
I'm
used to
not-
like surfing. I don't
Yeah?
know. Yeah, I used to like being out there because it was a thrill.
Yeah, I'm
It
not
was a rush.
outdoorsy. I'm not an outdoors person.
You like camping. That's the one thing.
Not anymore.
I know you liked camping until I
Yeah.
told you about bears. That got you so out of
it's
camping.
different camping
What do you mean
in-
bears? Because
in-
you don't have bears in Mexico.
No, exactly. We don't.
You
So,
used to probably.
Probably. I don't know.
Till
We have another type of scary shit happening there.
I know. Bear. Well, you used to have bears until there were bear tacos. Also,
Ver al pastor. Also al pastor.
also the tacos.
Yes, probably.
Taco de oso.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
No, I liked
no.
camping when I was younger. Now
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
to be
because
honest.
there's other stuff out there. People. That's more scary than bears.
You know what? It's crazy, but before I
Yeah.
wasn't fearful of so many things that I'm fearful now.
What is that? Because America's crazy.
No, but I just think when
you just too much, you just have too much information.
I think exactly like the older you get more information, and then you have kids that rely on you.
Yeah.
Being alive.
I know,
and,
and
and all
that's
that
right.
stuff. So yeah,
I think about that too. Like, I don't want to traumatize these kids.
I think it's just responsibility. Like now that I have responsibilities.
They don't do the silly
I don't
shit.
wanna do crazy stuff.
I always feel like, I remember like when you just don't want to do stuff that if you die, your friends go, what the hell was he thinking?
Yeah, remember that picture that I showed you years and years ago? Like, God, why did you take him?
Oh yeah, and there was a guy in a motorcycle.
Yeah, but there's something really stupid.
There was a guy in a motorcycle in Mexico, of course,
Yeah.
and he's like laying face down on his with his arms out,
Yeah.
going really fast on a motorcycle,
Yeah, that was-
lying on his stomach on the seat.
It's like he's
Not
kind of
looking.
like riding with his chin. It's
Yeah.
just insane.
It's stupid.
It's stupid.
And it easily, like in 2 seconds later, he hits a pebble and
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that too. I remember I was in Mexico and I said, like, part of the parasailing.
Yeah. You told us that the story with the popsicle stick.
The popsicle stick was part of the safety device, safety apparatus. It's like, really? We'll take this thing and we put it around the popsicle stick. And I'm like, what? No, get me out of this.
Yeah.
Get me out of this damn thing.
I know.
No, so I just, you just don't want to do it. But like,
hey, but I gotta say that thanks to our amazing new bike,
yeah,
I can do the outdoors indoors.
I know, because you could just see it.
You can just see it. That's really cool.
Is that what
because
eventually
I
going to
never-
happen to nature? Nature's going to disappear. It's very much like that, that great movie, Brazil, Terry Gilliam movie, where like they just have pictures of nature on the side of the roads, and there's like behind it is just a wasteland.
Oh boy.
But the billboards are beautiful.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's depressing.
But it is nice to.
So what is it then? I mean, because like when you have kids, you can't screw up anymore.
well,
You can't screw up the same, or you
yeah.
don't screw up in silly ways.
Well, you just don't want to die. I think that's the main thing for me. Like, I'm okay making mistakes.
Yeah,
I just don't want to die.
yeah. You don't want to die because then these kids are going to be tortured. Like there's trauma.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
And
but
they'll be okay.
but.
But I don't want to like change, like their lives.
I mean, because it's pretty good right now. These kids.
I think they have it pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm okay, like, okay, come on, let's go to bed.
Yeah.
Like last night that I brought the little
I know,
little
she
one
was
to
so
bed.
cute. She had so much fun
Yeah,
hanging out with us.
yeah, it was fun.
Yes, but I am I'm excited, but I don't know. I wouldn't say like my comedy special is Mount Everest, but like it's like 5-6 years worth of work, and I just want to record it because I keep dumping material, and it's like I want to get this, shoot it, and
Yeah.
film it, and have it, and that's I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but we're gonna shoot it in
That's
Salt Lake
exciting.
City. Yeah, in Salt Lake City.
Why
Is it-
there?
I just have, great audiences there. I mean, I have great audiences everywhere, but like, it's particularly exciting in Salt Lake City. I mean, just phenomenally good crowds.
You like it a lot over there. Like you were thinking, like we should move over there.
Yeah, but they're very nice to me there. People, Mormons are super nice people.
Yes, that's
They're really good
that's true.
people. And, Mexicans, super nice people. So, but I'd like to do comedy in Mexico. I want to, I got to sit down and really, we should have one room in the house where you only speak to me in Spanish.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
We'll make that.
We'll make that happen. And so, but yeah, and so I'm doing a bunch of shows. I'm going to right now, one an hour. I'm going to be leaving and then go to Raleigh, North Carolina, and then Virginia Beach. I think Virginia Beach, and then D.C. for the last 4 shows.
Wow.
Monday and Tuesday. We're going to have 2 shows Monday, 2 shows
And
Tuesday.
how come you don't get like super tired that then you cannot perform for your own comedy
Special?
show? Yeah.
I'll recover. I'll have enough time. I got a few hours sleep here and there. No, I haven't been sleeping good on the road. I've had terrible insomnia. What's the thing about like if you have anxiety, like it's like I'll just take one of these marijuana things. Marijuana doesn't make me feel less anxiety.
Oh, really?
It gives me more anxiety.
Really?
I don't get tired.
But what, like edibles?
Yeah,
Or-
I had an
oh.
edible last week. I was up for 2 days after that.
Really? I
couldn't
think
sleep
it's
for 2
I
days.
think the mix with what did you have? But like something sweet?
Yeah.
Because I think the mix of sugar and marijuana is not a good idea.
No, I didn't like it, and I ended up like, watching TV, whatever, and I couldn't sleep. And then the next day, and I had to drive the next day, and then and then I had to perform the next day, and then I couldn't sleep the next day. So it was like 2.5 days I was
Oh,
up.
God.
So it's not good. I don't recommend it. But for me, so I don't know. But I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But so what do you have going
Maybe
on?
some tea and meditation or something.
Yeah, no yoga and like what?
Listen to a book like of like
I'm going to.
someone that has, like some good advice, because that way you're just gonna sleep.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because I'm not going to use the advice. Listen to it.
No, but no, their voices are always like,
Very
the
calm.
tone is, exactly. It's very steady.
Well, Gabor Maté is really great to
calm.
listen to because there's also something foreign in there. So it's not like hearing your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always something when he's talking. Is a slightly the bit of it is like some of the vowels a little bit different than when he's talking. It's almost like Schwarzenegger. When Schwarzenegger's talking, it's like his mouth is doing weird things, and it's like it's incredible. With his, it's amazing. The movie. Such a liar, Schwarzenegger.
Jeez. How did he get dragged into this?
I don't know. I just saw him.
You did?
No, man.
Oh.
I mean, it was like when I was promoting a movie, he was like,
Oh, yeah.
movie's got action that's exciting.
It's family movie?
It's a family movie. It's got action that's exciting. It's got comedy. It's romantic. And I was like, what movie is he talking about? Is it The End of Days about the devil? Well, you fucking liar. It's got romantic. It's exciting. And parents can see it. Children can see it. That's funny.
That's funny.
And I went, well, I guess when you're promoting movies, you can just lie. And just say whatever you want. He's just a liar. Because I can't do that.
That's funny.
I just want to I'll tell what the movie's really about. I'm not going to tell them. If the devil's in it, I'm not going to tell kids to go see it. It's romantic. It's not. It's not romantic.
Unless it's funny.
I know. Anyway, so hey, congratulations on finishing that script. It's really funny.
Thank you.
This Patricia and Jamie just finished this really funny new movie. So hopefully we'll get to make it.
Mm-hmm. We will.
And yeah, that's going to be good. So how do we sum this up? What's the answer that I think? What did you finally learn from me today?
I learned from you that I don't know. I don't think I learned anything from you. Not today.
Well, then I accomplished what I set out to do. For you to learn nothing.
No, I think it's important to be aware that life is just life, and then good things and bad things are going to be happening, and it's okay. And let's not freak out about it.
Yeah, and also don't just live in the anticipation that bad things are going to happen too. But that's the problem. Is like I grew up in that situation with my mother, Pilar, who's 91 now. Is that she's just like, don't go outside. Bad things will happen. Don't go out there. You know what happens out there, Robert? Bad things. Stay home. Why? I said, I'm going to go downtown. Why would you go downtown? People die downtown. I'm like, but and it's like, that's not my experience. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm putting out there.
Yes.
But the thing is with her, though, I mean, for her, it was true. People did, when the Philippines, when the Japanese were there.
People died.
People died.
Yeah.
So going downtown then was dangerous.
Yeah.
But you can't live your whole life that way.
No.
But
You cannot live in fear, but also I think we should acknowledge that some of the stuff that we consider like bad things, they're not that bad either.
Yeah. Like getting stuck in traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now you have books on tape.
Yeah,
to
you
get
can
stuck in
listen to an
traffic.
audiobook.
Yeah. You better. I don't have that.
And I listened, from this woman also that it's important that not take the challenge or the
explain
invitation.
That. Yeah. Because basically, there's like, to me, it's again part of the reactive mind. If something happens but you can have like a situation where somebody's being argumentative to you, or it gives you the opportunity to have conflict.
Yes.
And you could either accept it or
not. So you can accept the challenge of,
I give a situation for that.
If you're driving and then somebody cuts you off and they're like, giving you, the finger or something, you can accept that challenge.
Yeah. I drive.
Of see who's gonna yell loud more, like louder.
I try to do the opposite now. If somebody's honking at me, like, because sometimes I do illegal shit when I'm driving. You probably know that by now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to turn here. I don't care. And like, I'm just going to make a U-turn here. I don't care. And like, I just, at some point you just go like, I'm sorry.
You really have trouble with following rules.
I really do. Yeah.
Things.
I hate
Why?
authority.
But why?
So anyway,
it makes things easier.
Well, let me just, I don't like it. It makes things, if you follow the rules, you're an idiot, I think, in some ways.
No, if you follow the rules to put something together.
I know.
And it doesn't work.
You're talking about like a
the
package and a game. Because the idiot's me, yeah. No, like, there's good side to mine and bad. But like one of the things, like this guy was honking at me because I wasn't supposed to make a left there, and it's really furious. And I just was like, and I just waved him, hey, like he's a friend of mine, and that made him so more furious. that I wasn't playing
Exactly.
into the game. I'm like,
I
hey,
know.
good to see you. Yeah, I know. You know.
But it's when you accept the invitation of being more upset.
Yes.
That's what she says. Like sometimes
That's
you
true.
could accept the challenge or the invitation.
Well, it's like, to me, it's the reactive mind. You know,
Yes.
you can make it. Don't be a slave to it. You can you can make the decision. Now, it's just like if you have 100 times an opportunity, 100 times to get upset, and if you get upset 100 times, that's complete failure. But it may be in your life, you maybe can get to the point where like 80 times you decide not to. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the best because you're. But the idea is also is that you're a human being and don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Exactly.
And
It's okay. We're doing okay.
We're doing okay, and take the pressure off, and the cultural pressure, and the pressure on yourself too. All right, so we're gonna leave it at that until we come back next time. We're gonna have what do we have? So we're gonna have the comedy special to talk
Yes.
about next time, and we'll have more stuff.
Yes. More
Always
stuff.
But thank
We
you for
always have
listening to
stuff.
see what happens. And I'm going to get into some more of this existentialism, and I'll have more to tell you with. And I wish you the best, and thank you for listening. And when you come back, we will tell you more of and let you know so that you can
See what happens.
see what happens. Thanks for listening.